Ghoul, Ghoul, Ghoul. You've been quite the popular one here ever since you joined. Let's see, you've only been in the realm for a few months now and you've only received countless changes to make you weaker. Yet no matter how hard I try, the survivors just don't want to go against you, and not like in a fear kind of way, just annoyed. So why is that? Hello everyone, welcome back to another wacky video from yours truly. Ken Kaneki, or better known around here as the Ghoul, has been talk of the town for quite a while, as on release he was quickly placed on the golden pedestal of strong killers, becoming one of the top 5 strongest killers in the game, with some people even arguing his place in the top 3. But no matter where I go, I will always see the same thing. People don't like the Ghoul. Now don't get me wrong, I don't believe all the hate is necessarily Ghoul's fault. In fact, before I go into the negatives, I actually want to talk about the positives of this character. Firstly, I'm always a fan when the meta changes. It's always healthy for a game to change the meta from time to time. It provides engagement with the community on how they feel about the game at the time. Also, for everyone complaining about Ghoul players that are just playing them because they're strong, if Ghoul didn't exist, they would still play top tiers. It's not like they would just cease to exist. And secondly, the reason why Ghoul is so popular is because he's a fun character to play as. The ability to slingshot around the map was an extremely cool concept and gives an extreme amount of pressure. You know, as long as it's balanced properly. So let's not waste any time and talk about the Ghoul, starting with...
My spider senses are starting to tingle.
Kaneki has a very simple power on paper. The Ghoul has access to 2 tokens for his ability Kagune Leap. He can use 1 token to quickly leap towards any vertical surface or survivor within 14 meters. The Ghoul can then choose to use a consecutive leap within a small time window, or just cancel the power outright. If a survivor is hit on a second consecutive leap, he injures the survivor, but if the survivor is already injured, they will not go into the down state. However, regardless of their health state, the Ghoul will become enraged. This overall makes the Ghoul stronger, with the most important thing being that he now has 3 tokens with his leap instead of 2. Now that you heard a very basic explanation of the power, you'd be quick to say that he sounds similar to dash killers such as Blight or Wesker, where he is very strong catching up to a survivor but relatively unimpactful during a loop, and well, you'd be wrong. Somehow everything I just mentioned before was not really the issue. Countless killers are able to quickly catch up to survivors and provide large amounts of pressure. The thing is, Kaneki is actually extremely strong at loops as well. Kaneki can actually vault pallets and windows using his power, and if you know anything about balance history and killers that can vault survivor resources, you already know this guy is going to be a balanced team's worst nightmare. Although him leaping through a window is about the same time as Wesker for speed, it still gives an opportunity to find another resource nearby, or depending on the loop, you can just keep running the loop. No, the issue happens when Kaneki is enraged. If Kaneki does his leap attack on you specifically, but a pallet is in the way, the time it takes to vault over is significantly reduced to a point where it's just, yeah, no, you're just eating the pavement. But hey, all you have to do is not trigger his enrage mode. Yeah, about that. Kaneki really is the package deal, as not only is he a very strong mobility killer, he is also an anti-heal killer on top of that. Most anti-heal killers are balanced around the fact that once you are injured, you stay injured, but they don't really have much else to put you into the down state. Kaneki, however, breaks that chain, as he can easily catch a healthy survivor with his power and take a health state away, forcing the survivor to stay injured for most of the chase time. Kaneki leaping to injure you is extremely annoying, as you are basically locked in place for a second, and trust me, being locked into a position that survivors have no control of can become extremely annoying if it isn't preventable.
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap!
Take killers like Trapper and Deathslinger for example, that could easily catch a survivor and take away their mobility. The main thing about these powers is that they're entirely avoidable with proper game mechanics and knowledge, which means that when you're caught by their powers, frustrations the player may have can be turned into encouragement or learning experience. With the Ghoul, however, none of this is true. Like the subtitle said, no matter what, this lock-in place is going to happen. The leap is just easy to land and extremely generous when it comes to range. It also doesn't matter if you are healthy or injured. This will still happen if you don't have a Kagune mark on you. So the fact that this action is basically unavoidable, and all it does is provide negative feedback to the survivors by making the Ghoul go into enraged mode, which I already explained why this is an issue, this killer quickly became annoying to play against, and trust me, the people were very vocal about this one. Listen, I'm sure you've seen people talk about the Ghoul, whether it's from YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, or even the game itself. Although Ghoul is very fun to play as, playing against was very annoying, and since the killer is 1, licensed, 2, strong, and 3, new, every other game was against him. Over time this has gone down to like 1 and 3, but the point still stands. only 20% of the people in the Ghoul match were enjoying it, so naturally most Ghoul discussions are negative. This put the Ghoul players in a bind, and in their everlasting wisdom they said this in response. It's a skill issue. If I had to go through 50 posts talking about Kaneki, 30 of them would be survivors complaining, 10 of them would be Ghoul mains saying it's a skill issue, 5 of them talking about how Rize players need to take a shower, which is true, and the remaining 5 are Rize players talking about how they want to get pegged by her. Notice how none of the posts are actually useful information. Like, hey guys, did you know that if you slide back into the Ghoul on the vault, you take priority, so they just stand there looking stupid? No. Well, that's because Ghoul players don't want you to know, and survivors would rather complain than adapt to something. But hey, you should be fine as long as they don't bring anti-loot perks like Bamboozle.
That actually is pretty funny.
The strongest aspect of Ghoul is to quickly catch up to a survivor, so the most ideal thing to do is to shut down their looping abilities with perks such as Bamboozle, Blood Favor, Dissolution, you know, those fun perks that make the first 20 seconds after being injured a complete nightmare. This makes counterplay against the Ghoul even more difficult, as the small list of counters to him now just got even smaller. But at least they have to sacrifice up a perk slot to use it, right? Yeah, so Kaneki has an add-on that gives him free Bamboozle. I'm not even joking. So now he can use the free perk slot to put on an anti-pallet perk, or you know, maybe just their 4th gen regression perk. Listen, I know this video has had some choice opinions on the Ghoul, but one of the most reoccurring things that happens against them is that even if you know how to play against them, the likelihood of your teammate knowing are pretty slim, so off he goes to chase someone else that doesn't know what they're doing. My most valuable piece of advice I can give to people struggling is this. During chase, treat Ghoul like a ranged killer. But wait, what's the projectile?
It's him!
I know this sounds like I completely lost it, but think about it for longer than 5 seconds. Looping this guy at certain points with his power can feel like just going against any killer with a ranged projectile. Think Huntress, take vaults directly in her face, and it's usually a bad idea as she can just predict this and throw a hatchet in your back. Just like any ranged killer, Kaneki has a tell when he can use his power by when he raises his tentacles. I know this sounds stupid because basically I accused Kaneki of being literally every single type of killer in this video, but at the end of the day, that's kinda exactly what Kaneki is. The Ghoul is a jack of all trades, but unlike most characters with this description, Kaneki is actually the master of all of them as well. He has access to some of the best mobility, anti-heal, and anti-loop tools in the game, all because of his stupid leap that I mentioned from the beginning of this video. Lastly, I wanted to say how Ghoul could be fixed to feel more fair, and I would say 2 things. Either A, make Ghoul a 4.4 movement speed killer, but increase his leap speed so that it would still be the same, but make him weaker overall around loops, or B, make it so that the Kagane mark is only applied when you damage a healthy survivor. This would actually give a risk-reward playstyle when you're playing against him by staying injured the whole match. Nah, actually I'm not done yet. I want to start ranting about Rize players. Like, I can genuinely smell these guys through the monitor, and I swear to God they have not seen the light of day in decades. Okay, this is a waste of my time. You literally just stood there for 10 minutes. Just go on. Alright, who else do I have a meeting with today? No.